Okay, today we are playing a game on Hollywood. We are in the Diamond SR range, and we will be playing Sombra basically the entire way through, but there is a little bit of May right at the start of the game. Literally just like a minute and a half. Not very much. And there's not really anything to say about it, so we're going to gloss over that section pretty quickly. Current team composition is Reinhardt, Zarya, May, Bastion, Zenyatta, and Mercy. So, May, Bastion, pretty tragic combination of DPS heroes. They have a Pharah on their team as well, so it's even worse than you think it is. If it was like Junkertown, you know, that wouldn't be so bad. We've got to actually capture a checkpoint before we get to have a payload on this map, so it's a little bit on the tragic side. We do have a Zenyatta and a Zarya, so that's cool, but DPS don't stay like that for too long, though. So there are quite a few questions in today's email, but they're all based around specific points in the game. I've got them all in front of me over there on the other monitor, but I'm still totally going to forget about it every single time. So, we have to attack Hollywood with our rather tragic team compositions. Zenyatta dies immediately, so that's a good omen for things to come. Fortunately, Mercy's in the game, so that doesn't last too long. We don't make a lot of headway during this section, and there isn't really a lot to say about the May section as well. We're about to randomly die, because we got shot by McCree and hit by a rocket at the same time, so we just kind of suddenly died. It'll happen to you sometimes, especially now that Hanzo is so frequently in the game. That's just the life we live now. So you just have to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to walk around a corner, and bam, a tree is going to clock you right in the skull, and you're going to die. It's a tragic way to go, but it's just what we have to deal with. So, Bastion is a hit scan hero, technically, so he can fight Pharah, right? You know, it happened. Both those picks get undone immediately. So we come up to try and bully the Reinhardt. Unfortunately, he gets bubbled and then just hops away before we can really do any of that classic May bullying. Everybody got earth shattered. We blocked it, but unfortunately, the whole team got killed behind us. Best we can do is just, like, try and kill someone before we die, but not much is going to happen, and now we're going to change to Sombra. So we've entered the actual game now. Hooray. So Sombra is really good against Pharah. Hack her out of the sky, she suddenly can't do anything. And Sombra's SMG is accurate enough to just sort of contest the Pharah. So Sombra's pretty good versus Pharah. It's not pretty good, she counters Pharah at this point. So we come up here. McCree was up here, wasn't he? I thought McCree was up there. It's a little scary to translocate up there if McCree is up there, but I guess he's not. I thought he was. So, watch this. Oh, yeah. Sombra's SMG is really good after they buffed it recently. So, we get healed up. We translocate across here, mostly to get away from McCree, who came up behind us. McCree is scary to us as Sombra. Hacking Mercy, not the most impactful target to hack. Fun fact, if she's in Valkyrie, hacking her actually stops the regen. So if you hack a Mercy while she's in Valkyrie, she suddenly becomes a lot easier to kill. But outside of Valkyrie, there isn't really much point to hacking Mercy unless you're interrupting a res, or you're going to try and kill the Mercy, in which case she can't GA away from you if you've hacked her. But other than that, hacking Mercy tends to not be super impactful. Usually hacking a tank is the most impactful person you can have, like hacking a Reinhardt. He's not a hero in the game anymore, he's just a lump on the battlefield that gives people ult charge. So he would be a better target right there. So this team fight has questions in the email, so we're just going to kind of go over it and then come back to it. So caught in the Graviton, hack Reinhardt, we learn he's got Earth Shatter. Oh no, Barrage just killed our Mercy and our Zenyatta. So that basically means we lose the team fight right there, and then Deadeye finishes off Reinhardt as well, so we just disengage. We did at least manage to build up a lot of EMP during that team fight. So now let's go back to the start of the team fight and address the questions in the email. So, first off, what should I have done in the position I was in at the time in the cafe on the high ground? I feel like I couldn't do much for the team outside of just staring down at them. So this isn't a bad position to be in as Sombra, because it is actually like a high ground position. You can hack people from up here, and if you shoot someone from below you, you're going to get a lot of headshots on them. The unfortunate thing is just that there's nobody really in an exposed position. Like, the two DPS are up there on the high ground. Mercy's hiding. Not the two DPS, that's Moira. What am I talking about? Moira's basically a DPS, though. The scary thing about being over here is that, like, they've got a McCree, so McCree could come up from behind us and flashbang us over here, but we know he's over there right now, so that's not a threat. So this position isn't too bad. The unfortunate thing is there just isn't a lot for us to do from this position. And we kind of got forced over here because we threw our translocator over here, and we just had to get away from McCree because he flashbanged us. So we could have had... hacking Reinhardt here would have been a lot more impactful than doing this, and then we could just basically farm Reinhardt during this moment right here. Because we don't have much else to do right now. Nobody else is particularly exposed. Our choices are basically bully Reinhardt a little bit or try and fight McCree over there on the high ground. But McCree's got Moira right next to him as well, so that's not likely to work out. So I would say the best thing to do from this position is basically just hack Reinhardt and then farm ult charge off of him before the fight starts. So, secondarily, our Mercy says that I should watch out for the flankers. I'm sure they meant the DPS, but I know for a fact I'll die if I try to 1v1 a McCree head on. Should I have taken the fight anyway? So, basically, you can win the fight against McCree provided you don't get flashbanged. Because if you get flashbanged, it's free. It's easy money for McCree at that point. It's over. But if McCree doesn't flashbang you, you actually probably will kill him, unless he's a god. Because McCree's actually a pretty bulky guy, so if you're shooting at him with the SMG, it's not that hard to hit him, and you'll kill him, unless he's gonna, like, headshot you, you'll probably kill him before he kills you, barring outside interference. So it's not unimaginable you win the fight. The problem is, though, that from the position he's in, it's difficult to get to him and hack him so he can't flashbang you without him being able to react to it. So it would be difficult to take the fight from this angle, basically. Unless... It's because Mercy said something, so... Hold on. No, Mercy's not saying anything right here. It's not unimaginable you can win the fight against McCree, not from that position, obviously, but it would be difficult to get the drop on him. And yeah, if you just, like, run at him, he's gonna flashbang you and he's gonna kill you. So it takes a little bit more tact than that. Not super feasible from this position. Also, Moira's up there with him, which makes it a lot more difficult to actually fight him. I mean, you know, it's kind of how it is. Fighting two people as one person is very difficult to do. Third, I probably shouldn't have hacked the Mercy and went for someone else instead, right? Yeah, Reinhardt would have been the better person to hack here. Tanks are usually the most important person, or most impactful person to hack. And you, like, yeah, you won't kill him, but, like, it'll make it a little bit easier for your team to approach, and you can farm some ult charge off of him. So he would have been more impactful to hack than Mercy. Turns out Mercy has Valkyrie, so her not being able to do that is cool, but she probably wouldn't have used it from this position anyway. Whereas if we hacked Reinhardt, he wouldn't have been able to get in there and do that, blah, blah, blah. It probably wouldn't have mattered because Farah did that. Where was Farah during this? Because she got revived, obviously, but where did she disappear off to? When did she get rezzed, actually? So you kill her right there. And she got... When did she get rezzed? Did she just walk back? I guess she just walked back, actually, didn't she? Because Mercy didn't res her down here. Yeah. Farah got back just in time. How about that? So that's all the questions for that one team fight. Yeah. Basically, like, we kind of get fucked. So it's not super likely we win the fight, really. It's unfortunate that Zarya used her ultimate right there as well. We could have also tried to bully Farah as she's coming back to the spawn, from the spawn, but spawn camping doesn't tend to be that impactful unless you're spawn camping like their main healer, in which case there's not a lot they can do about it, and you make them pretty sad about their life. So we have most of Emp built up. Unfortunately, missed our translocate up onto the high ground. Very sad. We can try again. Oh, McCree is up here. This would have worked if the hack didn't get interrupted right there, because this is the other question. One of the other questions. I tried to duel the McCree, but I ended up dying and using our Mercy's res. Should I have taken another route and go for somebody else? This would have actually worked. It's just unfortunate that the hack got interrupted and we had to start again, because that gave away the fact we were there and gave him time to react. So that would have actually worked if the hack didn't get interrupted. So the pillar is what kind of gets in the way. There is another route, like the safer but slower way to approach this duel up here is, instead of translocating up to him like this, is to stealth up the staircase behind you. you can throw the translocator behind you for extra safety, and then try to hack him coming out of stealth from the doorway way back there instead. Because if you the hack range is longer than flashbang range, so if you're far enough away from McCree, he won't actually be able to get you. So if we're in the doorway behind us, come unstealthed, hack him. He'd have to have the reactions of a literal deity to be able to stop that one. But that would have actually worked if the hack didn't get interrupted on the pillar. But the safer route to approach would have been stealthing up the staircase. So we didn't manage to hack Reinhardt right there. We started hacking Mercy by accident, it looks like, because I think we wanted Reinhardt. Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah. We even said we fucked up. Yeah. Unfortunate. Hacking Reinhardt there would have been really upsetting for them. Basically have Emp, so we throw the translocator over here, go in. Ah yes, this is the other question. I die again. Was that preventable? I felt like I was trying so hard to track my ult charge over my surroundings. So yeah, very obviously we want to use the Emp right here. Because we throw it, we wait for it, go in. So the thing is though, it's like we came over here, I imagine with the intention of just using the Emp. But then we saw Mercy and we were like, let's go for that instead. And then Hanzo comes around the corner, kills us. It would have been better to just go for the Emp play instead. Because, like, yeah, killing Mercy's fine and all that, but if we Emp their entire team, Mercy will probably die as a result of that more than anything else. So, really we don't want to jump off the high ground right here, because we're really close to having our ult charge. And we kind of want to have a better idea of where the enemy team are. Because instead we end up backing up and we kind of can't really see what's going on in the cafe from that angle. Whereas if we're up on the high ground, we can see what's going on in the cafe. So, sorry, bang the table. It would have been better to just go for the Emp play. Instead we were like, let's get the Mercy. Try and get the Mercy first. If we Emp them, it doesn't matter. They'll die regardless. So, yeah, it was preventable. Basically, we saw Mercy and got greedy. And really, we should have just focused on using our Emp. Ends up not mattering, as we can see. We end up just kind of rolling over them without the Emp. So, in a way, it might be better that we died, because we won without the Emp, which means we get to use it for the upcoming fights instead of that one. But, yeah, the death was preventable. Basically, it seemed predominantly greed-based that we died. So, now we've entered the second checkpoint. High ground control, really important for this checkpoint. They have a McCree and a Hanzo, so high ground is going to be high on their list of priorities as well. This is a very scary translocate to go through because we can't see what's going on the roof at the time. And then we get up there and we find out, oh shit, Hanzo's like right fucking there, so we end up having to immediately back out. We do know they're up there now. Pop up, hack McCree, bully him to death. Easy peasy. If you get the drop on McCree, it's basically free. So then we see that she's low and we bully her. I would like if we then immediately transitioned into bullying the Ana as well. Because we kill Zarya, we would have to reload first. We didn't quite, I thought we killed her with like half our ammo left, so no. But I would like if we immediately started bullying her. So like reload, then hack Ana and start bullying her immediately afterwards. Instead, we just kind of like let the Ana go away, but like, look what she's doing. She's a pretty juicy target as well. She didn't even notice that the Zarya was dying right next to her, and then Hanzo gets the drop on us and kills us before we can really react to it. Unfortunate. Yeah, I would like if we immediately started bullying Ana after killing the Zarya right there. We just kind of let her go, and we might have seen Hanzo coming as well if we were trying to bully her instead, which is kind of a hindsight is 2020 thing, but killing the support and killing one of their supports and Zarya at the same time would be really tragic for them. So we do end up losing the fight, and now we got to try and regroup. We have a lot of ultimates to use. I don't believe they have Zenyatta anymore. They do not. Now they also have Bridget, so we have to be aware of where Bridget is, because Bridget's gonna fuck us up if she gets the drop on us. So Hanzo saw us. Right? He must have done. He was shooting at us. Yeah, he like knows we're over here. Or did he? Did he hit us by accident? No, he's, like, shooting in the street. He couldn't have seen us from that position, could he? No, I don't think he saw. I think we just kind of walked into the shot. He was like, oh, shit. I thought he did see us, but I guess not. In which case it doesn't mean like we shouldn't run across the bridge at him. But no, we got hit by accident, I think. So we're circling around the backsides to use the EMP. We didn't catch the McCree, who was on the side there. Correct. Yeah, he like disappears around the side. That McCree is planning to flank somebody with that eye right there. Like, he is walking with some purpose. He is planning to try and flank right there. We don't catch him. We do catch everybody else, and then we immediately start trying to kill the Mercy. We also didn't catch Hanzo. That's unfortunate. We caught basically everybody else. Dragon's in the way. We have to come and go around that. I'm not super into hacking this health kit, because it seems unlikely that we're going to be coming back to this one in the near future. And there is a team fight happening over there right now. So I would rather have the hack cooldown right now. Because it seems like, yeah, we want to pick it up to heal right now. But I don't think we're going to be playing around this in the near future. And now hack's on an 8-second cooldown while a team fight's happening over here. So I'm not big into hacking that health kit right there. And there was a question about the right there, but let's just go through till we die. So the question was 7-11. I feel like the setup for my EMP was great, but we seem to lose this fight anyway-ish. Should I have done something else? So, I mean, the reason that it didn't work out, essentially, is because we didn't catch Hanzo. Because Hanzo's all the way over there, and he uses Dragon Strike. He was up there, actually, and then dropped down to use Dragon Strike. And then that just makes it harder to stick into the fight. Zenyatta ends up having to use Transcendence quite early on in the team fight. And then Hanzo's manages to finish off Bastion as well. So, like, yeah, the setup for the EMP is perfectly fine, especially since we know we have, like, ultimates coming into this as well. Because we also have Tank and Graviton, I believe. We just end up not catching either of the DPS, Hanzo in particular, and that's what kind of screws it over. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, I think that the decision to EMP was fine. It's just that it didn't, because we didn't catch Hanzo, and Hanzo had his, like, Hanzo ended up being really important during that team fight. If we caught Hanzo as well, it would have probably gone differently, but that's just basically hindsight's 2020. Turns out Hanzo had his ultimate, and he ended up killing Bastion as well, right after Bastion used configuration tank. So I think the setup with the ult was fine. It was just one of those situations where everything looked like it lined up fine, but it just ended up going slightly wrong anyway. I think the decision was fine. It's just the pieces ended up not quite working out. We still won, regardless, as we can see right here, so doesn't even matter, right? And then, like, oh, we killed Mercy entirely by accident. We just showed up like, yeah, got Mercy, nice. But no, I wouldn't worry too much about that EMP. I think it was a fine time to do it. It's just unfortunate that Hanzo ended up having his ultimate and we didn't catch him. So we end up trying to go for the Zarya right here. It's a pretty scary one to go for because Zarya is so high charge right now, but she was also low at the same time. This is a really good health kit to have control over. Like, if you are the attacking team and you have control over this health kit, it's very difficult for the defending team to actually deal with you. We hack he's got his ult again. It's insane how quickly Hanzo charges his ultimate. So Hanzo just killed 2 people. McCree's using Deadeye. Mercy's dead. We end up losing this team fight. Zenyatta ended up using Transcendence for nothing, which is very tragic, because now we won't have that for when their Zarya next uses Graviton, in all likelihood. She didn't use it there, did she? Am I crazy, actually? No, she didn't. Unfortunate. We do manage to farm a lot of ult charge off of just shooting Reinhardt in the back, though. So we've almost got EMP built up again, which is cool. Very strong ultimate. Very easy to hit a lot of people in this checkpoint as well, because they all tend to be very grouped up. Managed to pick off Bridget really early on right there. We've got Emp built up right now, so we just jump right in to hit them with it. And, Zarya ends up gravitoning them, like, way late into this team fight, and it ends up not working out super well. Zarya had her ult when this started, right? It just took her a really long time to do it. Did she have it? Oh, I didn't see. Come on. No, she actually didn't have her ult yet. Okay, so it's important that she does have her ults. Yeah, she ends up having to charge Graviton a little bit before this starts, so that's why it ends up... I was like, damn, it took her a long time. No, she pushed that like as soon as she got the charge, it looks like. So we needed to wait just like a little bit longer on that amp. Like, only like literally like 5 seconds longer on that amp, and we would have been able to Graviton them immediately after the amp, and then they would have died. It's the fact that it took the little bit of extra time to get the Graviton on them that they managed to end up turning that one around. So that's unfortunate. Over here we got... I feel like even though my emp was huge, my teammates were with me, we got no value out of the ult. What do you think went wrong? It's just that it took... Zarya had to generate like 10% more charge before she could actually Graviton them. And that ended up giving them just enough time to actually end up still turning the fight back around. If it could have just been like, emp, Graviton, they're dead. They all had their ultimates, they wouldn't have been able to respond. They just barely had enough time to respond. So it was literally just a difference of emping like 5 seconds later that would have made that fight probably go differently. It's still not going too terribly badly. Like, we've gotten it to basically the end of the track, so, like, frankly, good enough. But, yeah, we probably could have captured the checkpoint if we just waited, like, a little bit longer. Like, she was at, like, 89%. And then we emped, like, right then. So we are defending now. And we hack this health kit right here. It's not a super impactful health kit to hack right at the start, unless they push in on the left side really decisively. I find most teams are more keen to just try and rush straight at the objective for the first one. So I really don't know where the enemy team are collected right now, because we've kind of lost track of them. So we're bullying around the Hanzo right now. Unfortunately, our translocator was all the way back here, so we couldn't actually chase him through on that one. We should hack Reinhardt right there. It is usually more impactful to hack somebody than do damage. So we should have hacked Reinhardt while we were in that little scuffle in the inside right there, so that he basically doesn't get to be a hero for a while. But it ended up not mattering. Like, we were winning the fight really decisively by that point, so it hardly mattered that much. But if you have the choice to hack somebody or do damage to somebody, the hack is usually more impactful, unless you're going to kill somebody. Then killing someone is the most impactful thing you can do in the game, basically, so... So, we're playing Sombra right now. We're going to slide around the backhand side, and we're going to try and get some bullying in. Lucio's kind of looking back for us right there, so we end up giving up on it. They also just, like, shuffle away from us really quickly. We're not likely to ever really get a pick onto this team comp unless they, like, really fuck up and go out of position. But we can just sort of try and bully them and generate some ult charge while we're kind of waiting around for something to happen. So we translocate back over here. We do have most of Emp built up at this point. Hack Lucio, yeah, sad boy. Translocate back. Unfortunately, there's no health kit over here, so we kind of have to play a little bit more cautiously until we get healed, but we're winning the team fight already by this point, so not the end of the world. We hack that health kit again. Might as well just go around, rehack everything real quick. They have started going around the alleyway, so that health kit down there suddenly becomes pretty important to control because they are trying to play around that corner at this point. Bastion got picked off right after Mercy used Res, so he's not coming back anytime soon. Is Bastion a she? Is Bastion a he or a she? I actually don't know. Might not be either, to be fair. So we do have Emp built up. We Emp right after Sound Barrier, just scrape the shields off of them real quick. Oh. We ended up... Our translocator wasn't in a super good location right there. Because we ended up translocating right into danger. So, that's unfortunate. Right there. So, right over here, though, real quick. Was I right to Emp off the Sound Barrier, even if it meant I only got the 2 supports? Could I have aimed it better? I die as well, should I just not have translocated? Yeah, translocating over... The translocator was in a bad position right here, because we end up chucking it right in front of Hanzo. Whereas, I believe... Yeah, we were actually behind Orissa's barrier. So, yeah, translocating right here is like what really, really fucks us up in this team fight. The Emp itself, I think, is perfectly fine, because it basically means Moira and Lucio should die, because they're on the opposite end of the point to most of their team, and Moira and Lucio are both really sad heroes to be hacked. We react really quickly to the sound barrier actually happening. It also looked like we would probably hit more people than that from the position, because I would have expected that to also hit Hanzo, really, but he must have just been peeking the corner. I think the M decision was fine. It was the translocating, using the translocator right there that ended up getting us killed, because we did just blink right in front of Hanzo, and he ended up killing us. We win the fight regardless, which is pretty incredible, all things considered. Look at Zari's mad staggered right there. That's very tragic for them. Yeah, I think the M decision was fine. It was just the translocating that ended up biting us. So go around, rehack everything real quick. Wait to get this one. No, I was going to say something about how we've been using the translocator, but it's fine. I was going to say we've been putting it down really defensively, so we haven't really been able to use it particularly aggressively, but like we haven't really had an opportunity to use it aggressively anyway, except for that one time we couldn't use it to chase down the Hanzo at low health, but it's more important that we like stay alive when we're defending, so it's fine. Well, Reinhardt ended up in a weird position right there. So we hacked this health kit right here. I don't want to hack that right now. Because a team fight's about to happen, and we're just rehacking a health kit that it was already still hacked when we did that, right? Yeah, like, hacking that health kit, that doesn't do anything, and a team fight's about to happen, so we really want to be able to hack a hero right now. So we put our translocator around here, run around the other side, sneak up behind them. Oh, yep, we got it. Nice. Translocate back away again, because we were afraid we might die from that position. Unfortunately, Farah killed a bunch of people. Reaper managed to start spinning. We've hacked Reaper. Zenyatta's actually still alive. Yeah, there's a lot of screeching in the chat right now as we're winning the game. I was warned, and yet still I was surprised by it anyway. So, fortunately, by the time Farah killed 3 people on our team, they had already lost the team fight anyway. So it didn't take that much effort to actually finish the fight. It's unfortunate, right, that the hacked highlight intro for Sombra is so good, because there's never going to be a highlight intro that's better than that one, right? Like, why would you ever use a different highlight intro than hacked for Sombra? It's too good. It's too good. This is not far enough through, because there's a question about the stats as well. So we have to actually go through to the stat screen. Come on. Slide across. There we go. That doesn't have heroes hacked on it, though. Yeah, no, that does... Oh, no, it does have heroes hacked. Down there. There we go. I'm stupid. I, never look at the screen, to be perfectly honest with you. So, end stats. For the number of enemies hacked, I only have 7 off assists. I usually take that as my emp hacks were not being used properly at the right time. Should I change my play style? Enemies hacked, 24. Eliminations, 24. Offensive assists, 7. Hey, 24 enemies hacked, 24 eliminations. It definitely didn't line up as like every person we hacked got killed, obviously, but looks good. Enemies emped, 9. Like, I don't feel like it was... For the way the game went, I don't really feel like that's too far off what I would expect. Because as well, like, we're in Diamond, right? Like, people are playing reasonably well at this point. Like, if you play Sombra in, like, a fucking gold game, you could probably get up to, like, 70 enemies hacked over the course of an average game relatively easily. Because people are doing stupid shit. If you're in Diamond, people are playing, like, reasonably well, right? They're competent to some degree. So, I'm not too shocked by the enemies hacked. And I'm thinking about the times we used the Emp, and, like, I think we hit everybody we needed to hit with the Emps. So even though that's 9, I don't think that really matters, because I think the times we used Emp, we hit everyone we needed to. The second one was a timing issue, and the first one just ended up not working out, but I still think it was a fine time to do it. Then the second one was a timing issue. I think the Emp on to take the sound barrier off was perfectly fine also. Especially since Moira and Lucio are 2 really sad heroes to get hacked. You hit both their supports, they're away from their team, they'll probably die. So, only 9 enemies emped, but I think the people we emped were good. So, I think that's fine. Were there any really that many more opportunities to hack someone? I feel like we hacked someone basically every opportunity we had to hack someone. No, there were a couple of times we could have hacked more people. I'm lying, because there was the Reinhardt in the cafe we could have hacked. We just shot at him. We hacked the small health kit in the cafe as well, on defense, so we couldn't hack somebody immediately afterwards. But I think we hacked someone basically every opportunity we had. The issue, I think, more is that we didn't necessarily hack the most impactful people we could have. Because, like, the Mercy we hacked right at the start was, like, one of the lower impact people we could have hacked. But we knew that, also. So, yeah, 7 assists didn't... Like, here's the thing as well, right? Is that this is important to bear in mind with, like, any flanker, right? And, This applies to all of them. Tracer, Genji, Reaper, Sombra, Pharah, if you're playing her flanking, whatever. The only time a flank is unsuccessful is if you end up dying. Or they only have to invest 1 person in dealing with you, right? Like, this is why Tracer is always a really good hero. Tracer almost always requires more than 1 hero to deal with her. Even if there's a Bridget. Like, usually Bridget comes back as a response to Tracer attacking somebody else, right? So, even if you, like, sneak up behind them and hack somebody, even if that doesn't necessarily convert into a kill, you're still doing, or an offensive assist, you're still doing what you need to do as Sombra. Because the entire point is that you're applying pressure to them and diverting resources away from people and making it easier for your team to advance in, right? Because this is what all offensive heroes are basically trying to do, is they're all basically trying to apply pressure to the enemy team, right? They're the ones that, like, force kill pressure onto the enemy teams. Like, you could argue tanks apply pressure because they're the ones that advance through space, but a tank can't get anywhere if there isn't, like, a DPS threat as well. So, if you sneak up behind someone and you hack them, even if they don't die, that person had to suddenly divert all of their attention to you, and somebody probably had to help them as well. Because if you hack somebody, it's very difficult for them to actually respond to you, because suddenly they can't use any of their abilities. So, even if they don't die, right? Even if you sneak up behind somebody, hack them, and they don't die, you still took attention away from the front line, which made it easier for your team to try and advance in. Or if you're defending, it took attention off of, it took some of the aggression out of their push as well, because suddenly they had to sacrifice their frontline presence to deal with you, which meant they couldn't push in as easily. Or it made it easier for your team to push in because you diverted defenders away. So even if they don't die, it doesn't necessarily matter. The only time, like, flanking somebody is unsuccessful is if you die or one person deals with you. If 2 people have to deal with you, then, or if you divert 2 people's attention away, the flank was successful. You took attention away from the front line and your team was fighting 5v4 for a while. Now, your team might not necessarily do anything with that, right? Even if you see it all the time, especially in lower SRs, like, you might be fighting like 2 or 3 members of their team behind them, and your team might not do anything with the pressure you were applying. But you were still doing your job. Even if your team didn't capitalize on it, you were still doing what you needed to do. So, don't necessarily worry so much if, like, the offensive assists is, like, way lower than enemies hacked, because if you, like, creep up behind somebody and hack them, even if they don't die, you still applied pressure to them, and that's what all DPS are basically trying to do. And all flankers in particular are really trying to apply pressure to the enemy team. So, don't necessarily worry if it's, like, way lower than enemies hacked, because quite frequently you'll just hack somebody, if you hack a Reinhardt, right, so that he can't do anything and all you do is farm some ult charge off of him, right? Like, that didn't convert into a kill, but you gained resources off of it at the same time, right? So, it's not the end of the world if, like, your enemy's hacked is way high and your eliminations or offensive assist is way low, because the hack still did something, right? Even if it didn't kill them. That's not necessarily the end of the world. So, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Extra, I feel like our comms were flooded. Was I talking too much? I'm also pretty sure someone else's mic was pretty bad. They were pretty... It was kind of like everybody wanted to talk at the same time. I think more than anything else, which is more of a difficult problem to resolve. I don't think you talked too much. There was, like, when we were going into EMP on the 3rd checkpoint, we didn't really communicate it very well. Because the way the exchange went was somebody went, that Zarya's full charge, and then we went, yeah, that's great, translocates in EMPs, but let's go. So, it's better to call out that you're going to EMP in advance of it, really, than as you're doing it. So that kind of stands up, but I don't think you talked too much, no. It was more like everybody was kind of trying to talk over each other at times, because I frequently just heard, like, 3 people yelling at the same time. Like, I don't know what any of y'all are saying right now. So they were pretty flooded. So I've repeated myself mad hard for the last, like, 10 minutes or so, so I think we're going to call it good right there. Jesus Christ. That's a lot. Just looked over at the recording. That's a fucking long video right there. Some of this will get cut out, but, like, I'm a big fan of repeating myself endlessly, and yet somehow my videos end up turning out way shorter than some people out there, and way longer than some other people's out there. So whatever. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered any of your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know, and we'll try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly, have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us, and hope you found the video helpful.